Hey guys, Andrew Berg here. So we all know that one kid in band class who just gets it faster than we do. They learn the pieces faster, can play their scales faster, and they never really have to practice just to keep up in class. So this kind of begs the question, well, how important is it? And is it a blessing or a curse? Also, I want to get this out of the way up front. I do not consider myself to be innately musically gifted, but I've known and I've taught a lot of people who are. I'm just someone who really enjoys playing music, and I've practiced a lot to get to where I am today. Alright, so let's start off by saying I'm not talking about child prodigies here. Child prodigy is someone who's playing at like an adult or professional level when they're like 10 years old. That's very different. But quick tangent, if you do want to watch some videos of legit prodigies and feel completely inadequate, check out Joey Alexander, who was nominated for 3 Grammys when he was like 13 and 14, 2 of which were for jazz improvisation. So besides the fact that he's obviously amazing on this, he's improvising over the song Giant Steps. Soloing well on this is like the benchmark of being a professional jazz musician, and it's been referred to as the most feared song in jazz. And he's 11 and completely destroying it. The faces and the guys in the background honestly tell you everything you need to know about this. Alright, you should also check out the absolutely ridiculous Hilary Hahn. She's one of the best violinists in the world today, but check out this video of her when she's 15. Like, come on! How? She was 15! Alright, I feel sufficiently inadequate. Moving on. Okay, so let's start by looking at why some people are innately better at music than others. Again, I'm talking about what makes some people pick up an instrument or other musical things faster and better than everyone else. So one reason can just be based on their genes and how they were brought up. It's not that hard to think that musical talent can run in a family. I mean, just think of famous musical families like the Jackson 5 or the Beach Boys, Kings of Leon. All these groups are at least partially made up of siblings, so it makes sense that musical talent can run in the family. Now, the other side of this is maybe it's not genetics, but just being exposed to music more as a child. Like, if your parents are both performing musicians, chances are they're playing all the time at home, and as a child, you're going to hear that and want to play an instrument too. Think about it this way. If your parents speak both English and Spanish, chances are they're going to be speaking both languages in the house, and as a kid, you're more likely to pick up learning both languages than someone whose parents only speak one language, because you're being exposed to it. Well, music is a language, so if your parents are playing it more at home, chances are you're going to pick it up faster than someone whose parents are not playing it at home. Another reason could just be how our brain is wired. It's like how some people are better at math and some are better at English. There was a 2015 study done at Cambridge University that suggests that people who are more musically gifted also tend to be more open-minded and are creative problem solvers. But they also found that using those same traits, they could predict musical ability in someone even if they had never played an instrument before. Think about that. Science can predict whether you'll be good at something or not based on your personality traits. That's like some crazy dystopian sci-fi nonsense. Cool, but weird. Okay, so if you are more naturally musically gifted than most people you know, do you need to practice? Well, depends on what you want to do. I always advocate for practicing as much as possible because that's how you get better at your instrument. But not everyone wants to be the next Jimi Hendrix or Beethoven. Some people are happy playing Wonderwall on the guitar, and that's great. If you're not challenged by the music you're playing in school, and you don't want it to be your profession someday, then no, you don't need to practice, and you shouldn't feel obligated to. When I have students who are more gifted but don't practice, they'll usually be in the top 1 or 2 in their section through 8th grade or so, and then get to high school and just bomb. But the ones who want to be competitive in high school as a freshman and be competitive with the juniors and seniors absolutely need to practice. So let's assume that you do want to be competitive in high school. Well, then you need to start practicing more and taking private instruction as soon as possible. Being naturally gifted at something, but also working hard at it, is obviously going to make you the best that you can be. Think about it. If Einstein never learned math, he would still be a genius, but he probably wouldn't have discovered relativity. So the short answer is, if you want to get better at music, then yes, go practice, whether you have a natural gift for it or not. But if you're fine just being good at it without having to practice, then don't. So is being more musically gifted a blessing or a curse? Like I said in the beginning, I don't consider myself to be musically gifted, but I've known and taught a lot of people who are. And the answer is yes, both. If you can capitalize on it and are extremely motivated, you can use it to give you a huge head start and get months or years ahead of everyone else. But usually at some point you'll get complacent and you'll kind of plateau a little bit, and everyone else who's been practicing is going to catch up to you. It's also definitely a curse though. It's like people who never have to study in elementary school or junior high, and they get to high school and they start failing all their classes because they never learned how to study or don't want to study. If you never felt the need to practice because the music you were playing in class wasn't that difficult for you, and then you get to a point where the music starts getting harder, you're going to be much less likely to keep it up until you learn how to practice correctly. Okay, so how far can innate musical skill take you? I'll break down a few hypothetical scenarios, all of which are entirely my opinion, but based on my experience teaching and playing with other musicians. Number 1, if you never practice. Whether you don't care about getting better, or you just got lazy or complacent because you never had to practice, you'll be completely fine through about 8th grade being able to play all the music you have in class. As soon as you hit high school, you'll still be one of the best in your grade, but you won't be able to really compete with the kids who are older than you. Number 2, if you start practicing a few hours a week and get private instruction starting in junior high, you'll be in the top 10% of your section as a freshman at most high schools, and by the time you're junior or senior, you should be in the top 1 or 2. If you study at an average music college and you don't start practicing more, you'll stop being competitive within the first year or so. If you start practicing a few hours a day though, then by the time you graduate, you'll be among the best of them. Number 3, if you start practicing and get private instruction at a young age. Even if you start learning piano at age 4 and then go on to learn another instrument later on, as long as you're practicing at least an hour a day forever, then by the time you're in high school, you should be at a college level. And if you practice enough, you should be able to get into pretty much any music school you want. Juilliard, Berkeley, any of them. Okay, so for the rest of us who aren't innately musically talented and don't have the right genes or personality traits or whatever, is there hope for us? Well, yeah. Truth is, it really just comes down to determination, work ethic, and practicing. Any special skills someone's born with are great, but if they don't put in the work, they're not going to get anywhere. In the beginning of this video, I showed you a performance of Hilary Hahn when she was 15. The reason she went from being a child prodigy to being one of the best violinists in the world isn't because she was a prodigy. It's because she practiced a lot. If you're someone who wants to get better at their instrument, then just get private instruction and practice a ton. If you can't afford private instruction, then just ask your band teacher for tips and continue watching my YouTube channel. But seriously, just figure out what you need to work on and then set goals for yourself. Practice until you hit that goal, and once you do, then set a new goal and practice until you hit that as well. I always recommend people practice at least an hour a day, 3 to 4 days a week, regardless of your musical talent. With music, like most things, you get out of it what you put in. Thanks for watching. My name is Andrew Berg, and if you like this video and want to learn more about music, I'll be posting once a week covering everything from in-depth discussions like this to practice tips to musical satire. Please comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions for me. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time I post. One last thing. Practice.